As we transition from one season to the next, we start thinking about the new year ahead and maybe some planning that we have been putting off a little bit.
That's right. Today we have brought in our expert in estate planning, David Carrier, to help us get on track this fall to share some great advice for this time of the year. And you know, David, we talked to you about a lot of different age groups, but you know, we're surrounded here.
I noticed
We're in
that.
the fishbowl
That's
with
right.
kids, which
They're all
brings
these-
up an important point for parents who are making their estate plans. You know, you have a 7, 8-year-old.
Right.
You've got a lot of life left to get your kid through.
Right. Well, you know, most of the folks, they're the little
They're
nippers.
there.
You know, most of the time when people do these things, do the estate planning, they're older. They kind of hear the footsteps, you know. But really, if you're older and you screw up your estate plan, you do the worst job possible. Okay. Yeah, you're messing things up for yourself. You're spending a lot more money. You're not getting the care you deserve. All those things. That's all true. But you know, you had a life. If you're younger and you have, you're a parent of minor children or even, you know, in their teens, and you screw up your estate plan, what that means is all that insurance you bought is a big check on the kid's 18th birthday.
Right. Okay, so
You know,
I
what are you
confided
thinking
in
of?
David. I said, okay, not until we had kids did we actually get life insurance policies and some of the things that we probably should have done when we got married. So we put that off because of the urgency of having children.
Right.
But there's a lot of planning that can be done on top of that should be done.
Well, you know, we always say money is sort of like gasoline. You know, in the right place, it's very useful. But you don't go splashing gasoline around the place and think, well, okay, things will be okay. And that's the problem, especially with parents of minor children. You know, you're giving the kids the gasoline and a box of matches, and you're not around to supervise anymore. That's how these things. So, if you're a parent of minor children, it's especially important that you get the planning done. And these lessons apply to all generations, everybody. Of course, mostly we're dealing with people who have accumulated their life savings, and now the issue for them is not how do I worry about the kids, because their kids are adults, and at that point, screw the kids, all right? Instead, what we're trying to focus on with older folks is how do I hang on to your money for you?
So it can be tailored depending on where you are in life. It's
That's
very,
right.
very important.
That's right.
And
Things change.
Yeah, and you almost have to look at that as your estate as something that's a fluid document or set of documents because it has to change as you make the transition through life.
Well, you know, one of the things that's always been a policy in my office is it's always a free phone call, it's always a free visit. The reason is if we charge people to come in and review your documents, review your situation, guess what? They're not going to call and they're not going to come in. So we do it for free so that, you know, you know, I've got clients from 24 years ago, still clients, still reviewing the documents, still making sure that things are dialed in correctly. You just have to do it that way, it seems to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have some questions that we got from people. Of course, we're talking about life changes and things happening. So we're
Right.
going to review those and you're going to give some short advice
Okay.
about that. Okay, one came from a woman says, I live in a home owned by my mother. She lives in an assisted living facility and must sell it. What is the easiest way to buy it?
Yeah, here's my first question when I get a question like that is, why do you want to buy it? Why does mom want to sell it? Right now, the home is still an exempt asset. In Michigan, they don't even put a Medicaid mortgage on it, although I think we're going in that direction where they will start putting liens
Let's say
on
mom
houses.
needs the money for her care.
Yeah, but you see, if mom needs the money for her care, I don't want cash. I want the house because daughter will eventually, we can set this up. So after mom passes, daughter gets the house. In the meantime, daughter can take the money she would have spent buying the house, right, and spend it for the additional care for mom.
Right. Okay.
Right, and Medicaid will pick up the difference.
All right.
You see, I don't want to burn down that. I've got an asset that could be a lot of additional care for mom.
Right, because you don't know, mom may linger for 10, 20 years, and we know that costs are not getting less expensive
That's
as we
right.
go year by year. Okay, so let's talk about power of attorney,
Sure.
because this is something that I think is a little complicated. This email is from a viewer who writes, I need to obtain a power of attorney for my mother who's in a nursing home and has dementia.
Right.
So
right.
mom can't make that decision anymore, right?
Well, not so fast,
Okay.
okay? Lots of times the wake-up call for people is the diagnosis.
Okay.
Dad's not just being forgetful, he's actually got Alzheimer's, now we have a diagnosis. Lots of times that's the impetus to come in. So I've got a dementia diagnosis. That doesn't mean that the person is incapable of
Okay.
making their own decisions or is incompetent to do the documents. So if you do get a diagnosis, it's not like, oh, nothing we can do. That's the time to jump on it, get going. Now that doesn't mean necessarily that they are competent. Maybe they're not. That could happen. But now's the, we're past time, okay?
If they're not competent anymore to make that decision, then
Now
what
we're down to
happens?
probate court.
Okay.
With
And
guardianship,
every
conservatorship.
situation is different, and that's what we're trying to say here. And pretty much, you know, you may be a little younger. You may think that you are okay in putting off that decision, but maybe people should rethink that and
Right.
start making some plans for the family. You have opportunities through workshops that you hold on an ongoing basis.
We
Tell
do
us
the-
a little bit about those. You have a
We
few
do the
coming up.
workshops every single week, and the reason we do them every week is because life happens every week,
Right.
and so we want you to come to a life plan workshop. We make them very easy to get to. Now, we're putting up the Black Friday workshop.
Oh, because that gets filled really fast.
It gets well. That's why we do 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the special thing about the Black Friday workshop, of course, is we serve pie.
Yes.
Instead
Pie.
of just
Yes.
cookies.
Just cookie. Well, cookies will be there, but we
Pie
also
and
have
cookies?
pie and cookie, and that's going to be in our new office. You know,
Nice.
they're just finishing the build out now.
Where is that, if you want to?
Well, it's at the very end of the East Belt Line. We're going to be putting the signs up next couple of weeks. We're calling it Carrier's North End because it is the very north end of the East Belt Line, right before it goes up to Rockford.
Okay.
And so we're just about ready. I was just over looking at.
Congratulations. by
Well,
the
thank
way.
you so
That's
much. Yeah,
exciting.
really looking forward to it.
And you also have workshops in other communities sometimes.
Muskegon and Holland as
you're
well.
Easy to find. And again, if you've been putting it off, don't put it off any longer. And you can reach him online for a complete list of all those locations and the life plan workshops, davidcarrierlaw.com. Thank you. And we can listen to you on the radio.
That's right. Sunday mornings from 7 to 9. It's the David Carrier Show.
It sure is.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
This is 8 West.